Women share to be bold and take risks. The talks. Women say what they feel and mean what
A moment there.
say.
I think it was a really long
Believing
week
your
this week.
power, so much power. Yeah. The talks where women share.
What's going on, everybody? It is indeed Thursday. It may be Wednesday. It may be 2029. I don't know where y'all at, but we're here. Vault Talks Women Share. Excited to be in the building. But we're here, and so we're excited about that. So if you guys are newer to the platform, welcome. You guys are indeed for a treat. Happy July to everybody. I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, where did the year go? I don't know. I'm just saying. But we're here and we're happy. And so for those of you who may be newer to Vault Talks, thanks so much for tuning in. It's indeed a platform where women can come together to learn more, to share more about matters which pertain to their world. It's actually indeed on this platform where we'll come together and talk about entrepreneurship. We talk about our relationships, fashion, church unplugged, but we talk about ways to be empowered as women and to create that sisterhood. So what's up? An influencer is in his house in the dirty South. Let's talk about that.
In the hot South. It is so hot. I just came off a vacation though in Florida, which was really nice. We stayed there for a week. It was raining and hot, but we enjoyed it. So just been working on a lot of different things. I'm excited about the topic tonight because this is what I'm about. Achieving goals, setting goals, getting things done. So, I'm ready for the conversation.
And let me tell you, this one is interesting because it's always something. And if y'all know me at all, there's always a backdrop of why I choose what I choose to talk about. 9 times out of 10, I'm the one choosing the topics, and the girls are like, yay or nay. This one, it's been on my mind for a little bit. June is always that month where I always have aha moments. It's like, okay, I'm halfway through the year. I start doing some self-reflection and kind of just looking and seeing, okay, it's June. It's no longer May, but it's not November. So just kind of gauging and kind of seeing, where am I at in my life? Some of the things that I said that I wanted to accomplish this year, am I on track? Have I, thrown them in somebody's dumpster and don't remember whose, where am I with, what I set out to do? And so I really wanted us to discuss this because so many different things are happening right now. We are coming out of a pandemic, being trapped in the house for over a year and some change. And so the world is opening back up. So people are going back to work, or people are transitioning and looking for work from home jobs, or people are transitioning into entrepreneurship because they've had a taste of a different life for a year. And so, that will cause your goals to change. And so what's that alignment? Tim and I have been talking about alignment like a whole lot. If you don't know who Tim is, he's the clarity doctor. Check him out, visionwritersusa.com. Yes, I gave him a plug. But anyways, we've been really talking about alignment a lot. And so, a lot of times, like a pandemic, it shook a lot of people, and people were definitely not prepared for it. And so now people are going back to the workforce. Now people are going back to, kind of figuring out what they want to do with their lives. And so this is really key. It's really good to be able to have these conversations to kind of figure out, am I in alignment? Am I off? How do I even get back on track? And what track am I getting back on? Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. So, tonight's topic, we're talking about all things goals. It's July. Are we on track? Are we far away? Where are we? And so Isha being who she is, and talking about goal setting, me being the identity coach, the identity architect, just helping you build a strong foundation so you can launch into the things that you've been called and created to launch into. But you can't launch without vision. You can't launch without goals. It's not going to happen. So let's talk about tonight's quiet. It's well, hold on, time out. You were in Florida. I was in California. Had a really great time supporting a brother of ours. He's been on this platform before, along with his beautiful wife. They are the founders of Illuvione. If you guys don't know what that is, look it up. If you have a child that is really wanting to launch into entrepreneurship, his foundation helps people to do that. And it was an amazing event out in LA. It was a different scenery. We hung out at Santa Monica Beach for a little bit and then walked to Venice Beach. It was just really nice to get out of your own environment and just to be in an environment to like reset your mind and kind of figure out, what are you really wanting to work on? What's really going on in your life? Are you hanging on to things that you need to let go of? Just really to, being in a different environment helps you to, really reflect. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. Isha's going to talk about her framework. I'm going to talk about my framework. And so one of the things that I noticed when I was in LA was just opening back up. And so it was interesting. It was a fun time. So definitely thankful to be back, but also thankful to be out there with our brother Levi Lawrence the third, and his amazing event that went off very well. So let's go to Quiet's quote time and talk about something that's really important. Go ahead and take us away.
All right, so I had a little bit of help with tonight's quote. It's not in Aisha the Influencer original. Half of it anyway. The first half is actually a famous quote from Henry Ford. And it is, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And you have to believe in yourself and not your self-doubt.
Woo!
So that speaks a lot to mindset. It's like what you believe is what you achieve, whether you think you can do it or you can't. Like I said, you are right because you determine what you do and how you do what you do, or whether you even do anything at all. So it's just having that faith and that belief in yourself. We give a lot of power to negative thoughts and self-doubt when it comes to doing things, especially doing new things. So just putting yourself out there, because if you think about it, you wouldn't be where you were if you were not willing to try something new. So you have to continue on that same wave to continue to elevate. So just believe in yourself and not the negative thoughts, not the thoughts and opinions of other people, and just get it done, because it can happen as long as you know and believe that you can do it.
That's so good, and it's so rich. And I think sometimes in life, what happens is that we get distracted, we get caught up, we get mixed up with the wrong people, we get mixed up with ourselves, we get mixed up and get distracted. And somewhere along our path, we're just not in line with ourselves, and we just and so it goes back to really self-reflection and kind of sitting with yourself and kind of figuring out your mindset. Like, where do these things come from? What is it that I'm entertaining? What do I need to let go of? Why do I allow for this to come into my mind and shift me? Kind of just really figuring that out. And it can be a challenge because some of these things that we pick up, we don't even realize we pick up until we're walking in it. And we're like, ooh, where did that come from? And a lot of times it comes from, different situations, whether it's the workplace, whether it's home, whether, whatever environment. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later too, with the framework I'm going to introduce as well. So believing in yourself, I think that's something really key. We're going to bring Shalia in as well here. Believing in yourself is something that's really key. And it's something that takes, it takes courage to even believe in yourself. That sounds a little crazy. But it does. There's times where you have to literally move your emotions and feelings out the way and say, you know what? it's time for me to do me and to get this confidence from somewhere. And for me, I have to be around like-minded people to really help me to do some self-reflection on myself. And sometimes we don't like looking at ourselves. But we have to make those hard decisions and kind of just go back and reflect on, am I being my best self right now? What does the best self version of myself look like? Am I being selfish enough to even do the work to unpack some loads and bury others? So, it's a lot of decisions. It really comes down to a decision. And I was listening to somebody the other day, and they were just talking about decisions, and it blew my mind. Because we make so many decisions, and sometimes we make decisions based off of feelings, which is not the best thing to do at all whatsoever. And then when we make these decisions based on feelings, now there's a whole nother level of emotion and a whole level of unnecessary baggage that comes with that. And that can keep us stuck as well. So Shalia, welcome. We're happy to have you. I know you are wrapping up some things. Give us some insight on what you think about tonight's quote.
Hey, yeah. Sorry I'm late. It's been crazy for me. Every time I see it, it just reminds me of how powerful our minds are. Because there's so much truth in it. In that how you process things is everything in terms of your ability to succeed or not succeed. So if your mindset is, if you're telling your brain yourself that you can't do this, then your brain is going to act out what you're telling it. So whatever is what you're going to display in reality. So for me, it's just anytime I see it, it causes me to on how I'm processing life, the issue at hand, the information that I'm dealing with, the situation and scenario that I'm dealing with, because how I process that in my brain as this computer that we have in our hands is how it's going to play out in my life. It starts with our ability to believe in ourselves. And I came in late, but I can tell you, Takara, what you were speaking on in terms of, having the courage to ourselves first is extremely important. And sometimes what blocks our ability to be able to think we can is the headspace that we're in and how those decisions impact other people. And we gotta have the courage to change.
Shalia,
Also know that
we can't hear you, love. You got some technical difficulties. No worries.
Okay, let me check it.
Isha, you want to hop in and chime in for a minute?
Of course. So I guess I will go ahead and take this time to talk about my framework. As we had mentioned, I made a post the other day talking about all the things that I've done and just encouraging people to never say never and never give up. And one of the things that I mentioned was the workbook that I created with the 7-step framework called 7 Steps to Goal Achievement. So I will briefly go through the 7 steps. I did create a master class and did a soft launch at the very beginning of the year. A lot of things have changed since then. I will be relaunching, but I will give you guys the crash course, I guess, on what those 7 steps are.
I get it, but I hate that.
The other choices she didn't said 5
Your
minutes.
mic is on, Takara.
Oh, my bad.
All right, so like I said, there are 7 steps. The first step is, of course, to set your goal. And with that, you have to be very specific. When we, go after goals, we have to realize that we are asking ourselves to kind of grant a wish for us. It's just like when you say a prayer to God, you have to be very specific. When you ask, okay, God, I need a car, He can give you a car. It'll probably be a lemon, it'll probably be a hoopty, but it's a car. It's what you ask for. So it's very important to be specific when you are going after things, even for yourself. So when you write that goal, put down, for example, I know a lot of people want to lose weight. You lose weight just going to the bathroom. So that's weight. So you have to be very specific. Put a number down, put a deadline to it, and then go after it. So that's step number one. Number two is get real. And by this, I mean just be real with yourself about what it's going to take to actually get to where you want to be. And also your level of procrastination and commitment when it comes to, pursuing goals. A lot of times we say we want to do something and then we sign up, let's using losing weight and working out for an example. We sign up for gym memberships and never go to the gym. That's something that our level of commitment is just not set up for. So it doesn't make sense to put that on a list of things to do to get us to where we want to be. So you have to get real with yourself about where you are and meet yourself where you are. Um, if you know that you don't like getting dressed and going to the gym, don't put yourself in a situation because you set yourself up to fail before you even start. There are other things that you can utilize that will actually work for you. Those things probably work for other people, but they're not working for you yet. So just kind of gauging where you are in your journey and implementing things that work for you there. Um, Step number three is reflect. Now, this is when you go after your goals and you try certain things over and over and they don't work. And we know what it's called when we do things over and over expecting different results. That's insanity. So, and we do this a lot, you know, using going to the gym as an example. Every so often, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna work out. It lasts for probably 3 days. And then we're back at home eating ice cream. I'm speaking on from personal experience because I know. So that was something that just didn't work for me. So I had to, in my process, reflect on, okay, this doesn't work, so I don't need to try this, which is why I utilize home workouts to get the results that I received because I know the gym and I just did not get along. So just reflecting on all the things, the diets that didn't work. So those are the things that you put on the list of things not to do when you're pursuing your goals. So just kind of reflect and get all of those things out of the way. So when you go to the next step, which is analyze, you can really figure out what it is that doesn't work for you. So when you have comprised that list, okay, going to the gym doesn't work, diets don't work for me, kind of write out why those things don't work. So you will have a real understanding of what it means to implement certain things. So going to the gym doesn't work for me because I don't like getting dressed. If I'm at home, I can work out in the nude if I want to. I don't have to drive if it's raining, if it's snowing or whatever. I don't have to get out in that. So that's the reason why it doesn't work for me. So I'm not going to put that on my list of things to do. Step number five is to actually plan. Now that you know the things that doesn't work for you, the things that and you know why that they don't work, actually write out some resources that you can utilize to get you to where you want to be. And the sixth step is the hardest step, but it's the one that's going to be most effective, and that's the implementation of everything that you have written out for your plan. Just do it. But it's harder than it sounds because you have to, first of all, put yourself in a position to be in a mindset where you can operate where you need to be. So you have to tell yourself, I can do it, instead of listening to the negativity, the self-doubt, all the failure that you've had in the past. Um, Really put that positive mindset into play and then implement your why. This is going to help you carry out your process and your routine and your plan that you created for yourself. And the final step is to evaluate your process. Look at what worked, look at what didn't work for you, and kind of tweak what you need and then start it all over again. So those are my 7 steps to completing your goals.
All right, now that's what I'm talking about. You have to have frameworks within your life to be able to help you to shift from your now to your next. And I say that often, but it's funny because framework is a familiar term for me. I used to work in the student housing development field, and you have to lay concrete first and then lay the framework in order to build apartment complexes. Like that's one of the things that you have to do. And so, you know, framework is it literally is the foundation. It helps to help everything else stay in place. So without that, you're going to be all over the place. And so with that being said, one of the things that I teach, for those of you who may not know who I am, I have to remember that some people just see me as the Vault Talks queen, and there's more to me than the Vault Talks queen. So I'm the identity architect, and so what I do is I help people to build, whether it's building their personal marketplace identity or whether it's to help them to monetize their genius as entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, to be able to self-publish their work, whether it's a workbook, journal, whatever that is, to help them to understand and leverage their business or just their walk as an individual. And so one of the things that I've adopted in my boot camp is, and I started using it in my coaching business as a whole, is the MEET framework. And it starts off with MEET, just like it sounds, but the M stands for mindset. And so mindset's one of those things that, you know, we hear it often nowadays, kind of like we hear the word manifest a lot. We hear about these things and or abundance, but mindset is really important because it's like the foundation. You cannot go to the next level in your life if you haven't shifted and have brought alignment within your mind to be able to really get to the places where you desire to go. Sometimes we have to really, I say debunk. We have to get rid of some stuff and be willing to let go of that stuff and realize that this no longer serves me, and to be able to replace it in order for us to understand that it's time for us to shift our minds in whatever area that is. And so it's really important when we talk about goal setting, because it literally takes your mind to even create a goal. And you have to really be in a place of understanding your why. And your why has to be so big to where it's actually something that you have to see yourself doing it. And actually going beyond your why, if that makes any sense at all. And so mindset's one of those things where you have to really deal with limiting beliefs and where do they come from and where they rooted and da-da-da-da. But you have to be willing to dig. And a lot of people don't want to dig because it's uncomfortable. I might have to go through this situation again. It might not be physically going through it. It just might be mentally going through it. But sometimes we mentally have to walk backwards to be able to move forward. And that's a part of actually being able to do that hard work when it comes to mindset. And so that's something that we really need to be more mindful of. A lot of times we say things with our emotions and we have nothing to back them up with. And so, you know, emotions are, it's just that you're in an emotional state and you're making a decision. There's no concrete foundation when you make decisions out of your emotions, period. But when you really are able to shift your mind and be able to equip the fact that your mind is so powerful that if you really can see yourself doing a thing, then you can establish it. So you have to be able to, you know, get rid of those limiting beliefs that are standing in your way. And it might not be standing directly in your way. It might be up the head a little bit, up the road a little bit, but you have to be able to have the power to even knock down those barriers for once and for all. And I typically say knock down the barriers to build a bridge, because when you build bridges, you're able to cross over to other territories, even within your mind, to be able to shift. And so with mindset comes environment. A lot of times we don't want to check our environment. We get comfortable with where we are. We get comfortable with the people who's always been there. And even though these people have always been there, they no longer provide any substance to us. They're just a part of our history and they're not a part of our destiny, but they're in our environment. So they're sucking up energy. And the other E is energy, by the way, not there yet. But this is how intertwined this framework is. So when you think of your environment, you have to be very conscious of who is in your environment, but you also have to think about placement. You also have to think about, this might sound crazy, Clutter can affect your mind. And yeah, you giving me that look. Clutter can affect your mind. And statistics show, this is the nerd in me, statistics show the smarter you are, the more clutter you love around you. Go look it up if you don't believe me. There's a lot of people.
I want to know why.
Look it up. Let me tell you something, and I know it to be true. When I used to work for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, smart people, when I say intelligent people with the messiest desk, but knew how to put their hand on something and move it around and do, I'd be like, it would blow my mind. Some of the messiest people are some of the most intelligent people in this world. Now,
I thought it was the creatives that was messy.
Them too, but the smart ones. Yeah. I'm telling you, it blew my mind when I heard it, but when I actually saw it, because the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, for those of you who might not know, they're social workers. They're like really, really smart individuals with a whole bunch of letters and alphabets behind their name. But when I tell you some of the most cluttered cubicles that would make me itch and scratch because it would just like make me like out in hives, the smartest people, it blew my mind. And I had to ask somebody, I won't name drop, but I was like, how do you operate like this? And she was smart as a whip. So I know it to be true. Anyways, but that's a part of your mindset. Like for me, that doesn't work. I need some type of order, or I can't focus. That's just me. But I say environment because energy and environment go together, because if there's negative energy in your environment, you ain't gonna be able to focus. So that goes back to your mindset. So all these things go back into an alignment with one another. You have to be very mindful of the environments that you place yourself in, not just physically, but spiritually. That's real. And when you're around different people, you have to be mindful of the people that you're around. I'm not trying to scare nobody, but you got to be mindful of the circle that you keep, because you can be so focused and this person is talking in your ear. And if you're not grounded, now their focus becomes your focus. And now you all jacked up and your mind is going in different places. And because you're not founded, there's no foundation. Your mind is all over the place because you stepped in the wrong environment and picked up some energy that don't even belong to you. Gotta be mindful. And so to end the framework is T, time. And I love this analogy right here. It's not an analogy, it's actually a fact. There's 168 hours in a week. That's a lot of time. And one of the biggest excuses that people say is that I don't have enough time to do this, I don't have enough time to do that, I don't have enough time to do this. That goes back to mindset. That goes back to energy. That goes back to environment. Somewhere in our environment, we picked up the fact that we don't have enough time to do something. So now in our minds, when we get ready to set a goal, we automatically tell ourselves we don't have enough time. So that goes back to what energy have I picked up? What environment have I been in? What do I have to learn in order for me to master time? So that whole MEET framework is like a clock. It's gears. They really intertwine with one another. And so if you aren't in the mindset to be able to connect yourself, to even settle yourself in a place, that's foundation, settling yourself in a place to be able to build and understand your environment and understand your energy and understand the time that's needed in order for you to set the goals, not only set the goals, but to achieve the goals, to actually create a plan to do so, you'll never be successful. So with that being said, we're going to start talking about some of these questions we got here. So here we go. Can you identify what is slowing you down from crossing your own finish line? Can you identify what is slowing you down from crossing your own finish line in 2021? Can you?
Hey, how's my mic? Is my mic okay?
Oh, it's perfect. Come through. Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. So I can tell you this topic was on time with me. And I actually meant to send you a message to let you know that it was on time, because I had just went through this exercise process in mind. And me, what's slowing me down from crossing the finish line in 2021 is I'm a big dreamer, big thinker. And I tend to with very big ideas of things that I want to accomplish and goals that I want to achieve. And I want to achieve them like now. So what I do is I get wrapped up in a lot of different projects that slows down the greater goal. So regrouping and figuring out that I need to take baby steps, like pick very specific projects that I'm going to place my focus on and not try to do it all, and understand that I'm not going to get to it all this year and be okay with that. Is where I've learned, or I've figured out I need to regroup, because I go through these cycles of that. I realize when I'm really in the groove and things are going well, I start to get in picture big dream mode, and I focus in on that big dream, and it slows down me taking small action steps in the here and now. So for me, it's getting us and focused on the small steps and getting out of the clouds of the end result, the big dream that this journey is taking me to get across 2021.
That's so good on so many levels. I think as creatives, so many things come to our mind, and if we don't use discernment, we will want to do everything right now. And some things aren't meant for that. It's just, let me plant this seed. And so then let me show you how I'm going to connect the dots. So be ready for that. And so I'm learning that as well. What I'm learning, for me, it's consistency and follow through. So I have a lot on my plate. I'll juggle it well. However, it's time to take it up to another notch and to be more prepared for when the next level comes. That's where I'm at. So understanding that right now where I'm at, I am definitely on the runway. Right now I'm circling around control tower until I can master consistency and follow through so I can take off. That's where I'm at.
You did the work to get to the runway though. And I think a lot of times we forget that we put things in place on a consistent level to get to where we are, and we have to continue. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Get stuff in place, and like you said, you're going around in circles, and you stay there for a little bit, but once you get back on track, then you realize, okay, I still have to keep moving consistently in that direction to get to that next place.
Yeah. And what's funny is that the circles are a part of the process. Mm-hmm. Because what I see it as is that I'm picking up nuggets that I didn't pick up the first time. Mm-hmm. So I have to go around it again to be able to A, see it differently, and B, pick up the nugget that was left behind.
Definitely have to trust the process.
Oh my, and it's hard because when you're a visionary, you see one, and then as a creative, if you're not careful, you'll create something that's around what you see, but it might not be exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So you have to be mindful of that as well, because as creatives, we like, oh, I see it. And then we instantly want to take off and create just a glimpse of what we saw. But we have to remember that's just a glimpse, that's just a piece of it. So that can be that challenge, like what Shalia was talking about, of really trying to keep yourself in a place of being really straight and narrow and not being like the tentacles on an octopus all over the place.
You see that shiny thing and you get distracted. Ooh,
man,
right.
For me,
That's it right there, the shiny thing. Because I see the shiny thing.
I see the shiny thing. Yeah, I see the shiny thing. But for me, it's like swinging in a park and like, you know, like the swings, and I'm just kicking my feet and I'm loving every moment of it. And it's like, calm down a minute. Like, you're not supposed to. No, that's not where you're at right now. Can you get back focused to this thing right here? And so what I'm learning is I continue to bring myself back into the place where I have to be right here. And then understanding that, like I said, there's different things that I missed in different seasons, that now it's, okay, the season's here. I'm allowing for you to get this again. And then there's those hard lessons that don't make any sense right now that you're going through. And you're sitting here, you want to beat yourself up, and you're like, no, it's just a part of the process. But it can be such a slap in your face where it stings for 7 days, and you're like, dang. And nothing helps it like to that sting to go away, but it's a part of your process. Just that whole misunderstanding of, okay, what is this? And then when you don't get that, it's like you really want to be like, I really want to dig in and kind of figure out what this is. But sometimes it's not meant for you to figure out. You just put it in a place and then just let the rest of the puzzles come and explain what that hard thing is. But that's all a part of the path. And we have to be able to understand what are those areas that can potentially make us stumble and fall down so hard to where we don't want to get back up because it hurts that much.
But if you keep this mindset, and I think I made a post about this the other day, this scripture, all things work together. If you look at everything like that, all things work together for my good. No matter what you go through, you know that it's preparing you, it's helping you, it serves a purpose for where it is that you said that you wanted to go.
Yes.
Can I be honest? That sounds real good.
It works.
No, but no, where I'm at right now, that sounds real good. It sounds real good.
It works.
But sometimes I don't want to hear that. I'm being honest. I don't want to hear that. I want I want, and I want it now. And I have to remind myself that I need to trust the process. So when we hear and we're reminded of scripture, sometimes we hard-headed. Like, I don't really want to hear that right now. And, you know, and it stings for a minute for me. But then when I snap out of this whole bratty syndrome of mine, then I'm like, all right, I'm ready to receive that now. So sometimes we have to be reminded of that thing, but we're not ready to really hear it and let it really sit and simmer with us because of wherever we're at.
I'm getting to a place to where I'm getting out.
Well, I like to
a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Are we lagging? We good?
Yep,
Okay.
that's all right.
But I was just saying, I'm getting to a place to where I'm coming out of that, like you said, that bratty moment a lot quicker, because I do kind of understand. And a lot of times you're put in a situation where you don't have any control. So what else can you do? But okay, I have to look at this thing differently now, because you still have to keep moving. You still have to keep going forward. You still have to live life. It doesn't stop. So, you know, pouting about it, crying about it, that's not going to do anything for, you know, too long. So,
but guess what? For me, sometimes I need that moment.
Oh, absolutely.
Just to simmer down from everything else that is going on before I can even pick up somebody giving me that nugget and me digesting it the way that I need for it to hit me, because I just had that much going on. And I'm learning that it's okay to have those moments.
It's a part of the process.
It's a part of your process.
To get to, you have to go through that to get to that point.
Yeah.
It just depends on how long you choose to stay there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't stay there nearly as long as I used to. No. Thank God.
And also too, just recognizing that when you're in that headspace, recognizing that when you're, I'm sorry, I know there's a when you're in that headspace, like just understanding just standing that you're in that space. Because at the end of the day, we're here to execute God's plan for our life, right? So
Right.
whether we want to hear it or not, we can be in a headspace that we really don't want to feel or have to deal with that, and we just want what we want in this moment. It's extremely important that we recognize when that is and not make any decisions associated with that plan
Right.
moment. Because
That's it.
when you find yourself taking detours that God did not intend for you to take, and it tends to send you off in a direction that is way off the path. You may have made a decision that it could very well be within the plan that God has for you, to receive the recognize that I'm in my bratty moment. I have a timeout right now. Let me sit this out, process all of this and think about this, but don't make any decisions
Right.
in that moment, in those moments, about what we, the flesh, really wants, because more than likely it will be off the plan and path of our purpose that God has intended for us. And that's extremely important.
Absolutely. And you said it very well, because it's like, for me, where I'm at right now, um, clarity is super real, and my hearing is in a different place too. So I have my moments, but it's like, okay, I talk to myself more, and even being a child and hearing, oh, you ain't supposed to talk to yourself. Well, I'm like, I feel like I am not sane if I don't talk to myself. And having those moments where I have to have those conversations like, yo, T, you tripping. T, I'm gonna need you to get your whole entire life, nothing missing, nothing lacking. Like, those are the conversations I have with myself in my mind. I'm like, okay, so what are you really doing right now? So for me, that works, because it allows for me to self-reflect and kind of have that, okay, I'm pouting right now. What's this all about? Let me go listen to some music. Let me go lay down. Let me go read a book. Let me regroup. And I'm just thankful that it doesn't take me as long as it used to take me to realize that I've hit a dead end with myself, knowing that I have the tools to create that other path and detour the other way now. But that takes work, and that takes self-reflection to be able to be that grown up and say, I'm not going to stay in this place. I know that there's more, but sometimes you just don't want to hear certain things, because sometimes you get tired of hearing it, because you've been in the place for so long, and like, people keep reminding you of the same thing that you already know. But you're like, well, where's the manifestation at? I keep hearing it, but where's the manifestation at? But I keep hearing it, but so it gets tiresome. Yet we know it's a part of the process, like deep down in our core, we know. But somewhere up through there, we just are like, stop. I don't want to hear it. Just let me have a moment. Let me do some self-reflecting. Let me just take a time out. Coach, can I sit this out for 15 minutes? And then let me come back into the game and make the decisions that I need to make accordingly after clearing your head.
But there's a scripture for that one too.
I'm sure.
It's a scripture for everything. Do not get weary in well doing, but in due season you shall reap. And I know a lot of times, like you said, we get frustrated. Those are emotions. We get so emotional and get full of ourselves and our feelings that we get thrown off. So we can't not feel. We can't not have emotions, but don't stay there, because when you know better, but you can't get over this feeling right now. So it's just that process that we have to go through. And a lot of times for me, and I know you have the other question up here, but just identifying what's kind of slowing you down. For me, there's a secret behind my content. Everything that I post is me encouraging myself. So I don't want people to get confused, like we're sitting up here like we know everything and we, do everything right and, all the time. Like, no, you need that encouragement. You need to remind yourself daily of the things that, you need to do. A post that I made was, in order to achieve your goals, you have to release fear or decrease fear, increase faith, and then activate force. We don't put enough pressure on ourselves to do certain things sometimes. And if you're waiting on somebody else to do it, it's not going to get done. We have to kind of realize like everything that we need to, it's in us. Everything we need to operate, everything we need to get things done, it's up to us to do it.
Right.
So just knowing who you are, where you are, and like you said, what is actually slowing me down, what is actually in my way from doing these types of things. So, like I said, the messages and the contents and the posts that I put out are for me first. God gives them to me for me and comes through me for everybody else. So I don't want, like I said, people to get confused. Nobody's perfect. We're all running this race, but you got to get up and run. You got to put your shoes on. You got to time up and you got to get out here. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting and watching everybody else. You're going to be a spectator or you're going to actually run the race. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it boils down to. So I know exactly what gets in my way. So it's just a matter of doing the work to remove those things.
Right. And that's also, that comes with awareness. And, you know, a lot of people aren't aware that it's time to work when they want to play.
Yep.
You know, so that's Ecclesiastes 3. We're going to quote scripture on tonight, you know, talking about the seasons and knowing, you know, when to do what.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very real. And so I think the other thing too, and I talk about it all the time, is knowing who you are as a game changer.
Yep.
I just don't say that to say that. It's real, you know, because what we make look easy really isn't. I mean, because I was talking to the TV show producer. We were talking about my episode airing last night, and she was, I mean, you know me, I talk to everybody. So we talking, and she was just asking me, you know, more so, you know, why did I create the show that I created for last night? And, you know, for me, it's like I had to let her know, you know, what's the real deal with Takara Nicole? That content comes from me.
Mm-hmm.
That content comes from something I'm either dealing with or B, just came out of, and C, want to help somebody else. So we are real people, you know, we're not out here. And that, you know, it's funny because I'll tell you all what I want to talk about next week. But it's real to be able to stop putting people on these pedestals and understand that TV show hosts, Aisha the influencer, Miss SJ, the identity architect, I don't care who you are. You just don't arrive to the places where you're at.
No.
There's a lot that goes into it, and people don't see that part of it, so they can't understand where you currently are and the elements that you had to go through to even understand what a goal looks like just to set it, and then what it really looks like to achieve it. You know, we can say, yeah, I want to get this done in 21 days. But me being Takara Nicole and keeping it real, it might take me 63.
Yeah.
You know, so we are indeed real people.
And the truth of the matter is, you don't ever really arrive, right? So this is journey. This is not. So self-mastery. I talk with my clients and the moms and the women that I deal with. I help them to understand the self-mastery piece. Self-mastery is something that you will always, and you will continue to go through the process of mastering self. Because even where I am today, where Takara, where you are today, where we all are today, we could be right back here 2 years from now, 6 months from now. You know, we can grow past this. It's a journey. It's a cycle. So you are not in competition with anyone else but yourself. I tell this to my children, to every person that I meet, hear them comparing themselves to someone that they think is here, and they're here. They're at a different place. The only person that you are in competition with is yourself. So you need to keep your eye on self and keep evolving within yourself, because I can promise you there is something in my life that you have mastered that I have not. There's something in your life that I have mastered that you places. So and say they're here and I'm trying to get to where they are, you are probably already somewhere where they wish they could be. So
Amen.
focus on you and mastering yourself and what your goals and where you're trying to get to, and what do you need to do? What work do you need to do within you to get there?
Absolutely. And with that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back, and we're gonna tackle this question when we come back. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, okay?
Your time is very precious. And wouldn't you agree that it's time to stop wasting it? Does this sound familiar? Are you not fulfilling your potential? Are you not reaching your goals? Are you not even setting your goals? Are you feeling unmotivated, feeling stuck, and you need accountability in your life? Searching for the right answer, the right solution can be difficult and lonely. You get vague information. You're pointed in the wrong direction. You receive bad advice. No one wants that. And there must be a better way. Well, there is. At All About One Leadership Consulting, we can help you. At All About One, we help individuals and organizations achieve their goals, get unstuck, and reach their potential. Contact us today.
Now, I didn't play that commercial on purpose, but I thought it was funny how they literally help people get unstuck and find their potential.
Achieve your goals. I was looking like,
I was like, commercial won't play, and I totally forgot to make sure I saw it to the end. So God is comical in all that He does, trying to let us know, yo, get unstuck and move, y'all. So let's get it. I was like, wow, Takara, wow. I couldn't even get my words together because I literally just was like, oh, All About One commercial. Let me play that. Anyways. Well, I mean, it is all about one. We're talking about a common goal tonight being, set your goals, go after them. But anyways, does your ability to set and maintain boundaries impact your ability to reach your goals? Does your ability to set and maintain boundaries impact your ability to reach your goals? Yeah, about that.
yep, absolutely.
Oh wow, he's watching! Hi, Lee!
Yeah.
We love your commercial too, Lee. We do. Wow, that's my brother right there. So, y'all, let me give an extra plug since he's watching All About One. I'm telling you, he's an amazing. Him and his wife, they're a duo. They're amazing at what they do, and we're gonna have him on the show talking about his new play he got out. So he's super dope. Yeah, we love that commercial too. That's so funny. Anyways, does your ability to set and maintain boundaries impact your ability to reach your goals? I ain't gonna talk about that one, but I'm gonna let.
Please though.
See, look. Listen. So Priscilla is saying boundary setting does impact how we approach our goals in our business. Listen, you better say that.
Yeah.
Come on, Shalene.
She's absolutely right. But to me, who you are in life is who you are in business. So your set boundary starts first. Again, what we've been talking about all night with self. Your ability to reach your goal, setting those boundaries and maintaining those boundaries starts with every area of your life. To whether it's relationships, where it's finances, it's your business, what it is. If you're not able to set boundaries around reaching your goals, then you'll be able to get there. Because everyone that comes in that's pulling at you, or everything that's pulling at you and wanting your time and wanting a piece of you, without those boundaries, you're not going to get there. It's going to impact your ability to get there. When Takara, you talked about relationships, and everyone is not meant to be in your life for the rest of your life. Like, people show up for seasons. They make the ultimate purpose that you're here to deliver, and recognizing when those relationships are not serving those purpose. And when you have people in your life that's not willing to respect boundaries set, that is not about you, about them. And some hard decisions and hard need to happen around when to let those go. No one's saying that you can't love someone, but there is a such thing as loving people from afar. I can love you from afar and not breach the boundaries that I have set. So it's to care for you and the goals that you're trying to reach, to set those with those around you. But at the root of that is understanding who you are. So understanding who you are, you have to know who you are to know how to set those boundaries and how to maintain them as well.
I believe that you are on point, and we have Dr. P out in the audience saying that I speak with business owners about adding boundaries to their work schedule so they can get tasks completed. You know, it's funny we talk about boundaries because I was working with a client and they were looking to kind of shift and realign things within their business. And from day one, we were talking about different things. And from day one, I'm like, let me introduce you to what we need to do before I hear anything else about your business and what you desire to do. You need to create healthy boundaries. Well, what do you mean? If you want to do A, B, and C, then you need to make the proper time to do A, B, and C. But if you have people that are pulling at you, you aren't going to be able to pour your energy. It goes back to my framework. You're not going to have the mindset to be able to have energy to dedicate the time needed to create your environment to even create change, so you can be aligned in your life.
Right.
If you don't have boundaries set, it's not going to work. It's not. And you know, one thing, 2018 was the year where I had to let people go. It was one of the hardest things that I had to do. But what I realized was that they no longer fit in my environment. And I say this all the time. You can be a part of my history, but not a part of my destiny. And that's okay. I'll never forget you. But where I'm going, like Southwest, I can only take 2 bags for free. Everything else I'm going to have to charge. I'm going to pay the cost for it. I'm going to pay the cost for it. And I dress too cute to pack anything in an ugly bag. Because that's what you're going to have to do, pay $25 for Southwest to give you an ugly bag and then put your stuff in there. And then, no, we ain't doing none of that. So what I'm saying is I have to be very mindful of the people that I have in my environment. And so with that being said, I have to create healthy boundaries. And it's okay to, people are like, oh, I don't want to let so-and-so go. You don't have to send them a Dear John letter and telling them that you're letting them go. You just have to be more strategic on the time that you're giving them and how you're no longer serving them, and you're no longer sometimes being a part of their pity parties, and you're no longer, doing all the work for them, and you're no longer, oh my God, I need to pick your brain. Well, that's $200. That's a consultant fee. Do you have that? Oh, you don't?
Right.
Well, that's not this anymore.
Right.
This ain't that.
I love you, but I am in tune with my purpose and the direction of where I'm going. So this boundary that I have to create right here, no love lost, but I'm on a mission.
Absolutely. And like you said before, like a lot of people are not.
And people that truly, genuinely care about you. Go ahead, Isha. I'm laughing.
No, I'm just saying. This is funny. I was just saying a lot of people aren't even aware that they need boundaries. It's just like they feel like they can people please their way to their goals, and that's not going to happen because you find yourself going in circles and not getting stuff done, and you wonder why. Everybody's calling you and texting you, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And like I said before, especially if you have kids, like kids, they need your time. But you even have to set boundaries for them. Like, nope, I'm not doing that. I can't play football with you right now. I have to work on this, and you have to understand that because you're going to reap the benefits of what it is that I'm doing later. So give me that time. But as far as just like people, like you said, pulling at your energy and let me pick your brain, and like people, they see your value. They see everything that you have to offer, and that's why they attach themselves to you. So just having that discernment of, okay, is this a reciprocal type of relationship? Are you giving and not just receiving? Because if it's going both ways, then we can work. We can cool. I'll pick up the phone when you call. But if not, I can't do you right now. So it's just you have to really, and it hurts feelings, but people they'll get over it. But you have to do what you have to do for you.
I look at it like replacing a job. Like, if something happened to me and I was still working my 9 to 5, guess what? They're gonna be like, okay, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. But I need you to take this workload that Takara was doing, and you take this part of it, and you take that part of it. We're replaceable. We're replaceable, and we have to understand that we can't stretch that far to where we lose sight and are so far away from what we need to accomplish because we're so in tune and entangled with other people and what it is that they're doing. And so we're helping them, we're pouring into them when it's a season for us. And even not even just the season, but it may be just the time to be like, you know what? OMG. Like, I've really been doing this? Like, is this really the reason why I'm slowing down? Is this really the reason why I'm feeling heavy? Because I'm so focused on being that servant to where I'm helping everybody else that I'm not helping myself.
If we're being honest, we put ourselves in those situations because it's that codependent type of relationship.
Not always.
But sometimes, like, we need to be
right.
Those of us who are meant to serve, we have to serve, and we like to serve. But you get caught up in it, and after so long, you realize, okay, I'm trying to move to a different place. I can no longer, like, I'm serving you, but now I realize my value, and I have to be compensated for my services. So now it's a whole different game. But as servants, we have to do what we do. And now it just comes at a cost.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest. When I used to serve in the church, I think that's what messed
people
me
that
up.
you want in that. People that I'm lagging over here, so y'all gotta give me a minute. I mean, give me 5 seconds, okay?
Come on,
people that you want in your circle, people that you want in your circle, that you want around you, will respect and understand that. To me, it is a tool for you to truly recognize who is in this season with you. You are dealing with someone who can't recognize and understand those points that both of you just mentioned. If they don't understand that, it's a new season. They're not supposed to be with you in this season. And understanding when to let you have to be able to consider you first and recognize when the person on the other side is definitely thinking about them. And if there isn't enough love in the relationship for them to respect you and your boundaries, what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go in your life, then you should be questioning, this is a relationship that I want to and hold on to.
Yep, let it go.
Okay, I'm done now. You got people who want to hear what you're saying. They're like, "Are you on Wi-Fi or are you really connected into the internet? Like, what's going on? Switch up your internet service. Who you got, girl?"
I am connected. I am on a land. No, it ain't the internet. It is this computer. But best believe it is being replaced.
And you know what? But you just said something. That's how quick we have to be to get rid of folks in our life. Like, identify the problem, move it aside, you know? And I think sometimes you're right, Isha, it can be
Yep.
codependency. Sometimes it's just you're so used to serving to where now you have to shift. And that's that whole decluttering and doing that work to realize that I no longer have to serve in this capacity. What am I doing? And so that can be a hard transition to really understand how to shift. And then if you love people, like really love people, sometimes we hang on based on how we feel about people and the love we have for people longer than we should. And then the destination becomes so more far off because we just need to cut it. And, you know, Lee, I'm not with you tonight. Talking about we on high speed and those around us are still on dial-up. Come on! Yes, now that's a part.
Come through, Lee.
Hold on. Let me post that. Y'all need to look at that. Screenshot that right there. We are on high speed. Come
Yes.
on. I love it. But that's real. It's so real, man. That's what he's funny. But that goes back to really discerning what season you're in, and letting go can be hard because, like I said, it's routine. It's something that you're used to. But like for me, for real talk, today my prices for a consulting fee went from $125 to $200 an hour. Why? Because I
knew your price was gonna go up after you met with Levi and him. You done got with Levi and him. Now them prices going. I knew it was happening. You came back from LA, and baby, I already knew it.
It was already in the plan before I got back.
Yeah, but you know he don't play by those prices.
No, but you know, I sat back and realized how much value I give. Like, no, man, that's not it, you know? And I think about we go through so much to be who we are. And then that's mindset. That goes back to my framework. When we have to put a price tag on it, that's mindset all day long. And it's hard to shift between that. But I think about I got alphabets behind my name. It's time to shift. You know, I have experience. I have these things. I have the Holy Spirit that helps me all the time within my business. Come on. I can't stay in that place and then expect elevation. How's that gonna work? I love Dr. K. Your price is based on your value. Her hourly consulting rate is $300. I'm gonna get there. Give me January 1. Let me for the next 5 months. Let me continue to set these boundaries here so I can get to my goal. I know. I love her, and we will. So let's go ahead and wrap it on up. This has been a really good show. Praying that these nuggets have hit home. I know I'm definitely going to go back and watch it because we were talking about some valuable things and just really understanding that goal setting is needed in order to achieve the goals in the dreams that we really want to accomplish in our life. And, you know, really taking Isha's framework to heart and my framework and the wisdom Shalia was saying, and really sit with yourselves. I challenge you. You have a 3-day weekend. Just don't go out there and kick it. Sit there and really challenge yourself to see where are you? Do a self-assessment. Where are you right now? And where do you desire to be? And when you first enter this year, are you anywhere near there? And if you're not, that's fine. But now it's time to put in some extra work so you can fulfill the goals and the dreams, not only for yourself, but what I'm learning about this journey is that we have people that we don't even know that are waiting for us to do different things. And so we
That
have
right
to be
there.
mindful. Man,
Yeah.
listen,
Mhm.
that's starting to hit different these days. I will definitely be honest and say that. Definitely starting to hit different these days.
We have to realize that what we do is bigger than us. It's not
Yeah.
about us. It's not about us. Because if it
No.
was up to me, I wouldn't
Mhm.
show up. I wouldn't be on camera. I wouldn't be posting every day. I wouldn't be on social media. I wouldn't be doing none of this if it was only about me.
Right.
But I know, like, I'm serving a purpose. This is what God
Right.
is going to do. It's for other people. It's not just for me. So we have to show up.
Gotta show up and show out big. So next week's show.
Yes.
Every second Thursday we do the coaches huddle, the female coaches huddle at that. And so I really want us to talk about the life of coaches and what we really deal with and the expectation that clients put on us. Let's talk about that because it's major. Just to understand the role of a coach. I think sometimes people get that confused with a consultant. So let's really help the people to understand if you're looking to shift from your now to your next and you have goals, you have to figure out what type of coach is going to work for you because you need one. Everybody needs one. And people don't want to hear that, but it's real. If you are working to get to a destination, you indeed need a coach. However, this has been Vault Talks Women Share. We invite you to come back. We invite you to even check out the replay. Go to our YouTube channel, give us a follow. Go to our Facebook page, give us a follow. Vault Talks Women Share, all one word. And we are excited that you've been a part of this experience. And we're signing off. Good night, good morning, good afternoon.
Women share to be bold and take risks. Vault Talks. Women say what they feel and mean what
A moment there.
I did. I think it was a really long
Believe
week
in your
this week.
power, so much power. Yeah. Vault Talks, where women